This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 14. I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And the Most High doeth it, that men should fear him. All right. Shalom, shalom. I'm going to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Wahawar Hakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, those who rule well and who taught me this truth. Salutations to you brothers out there stiffly pushing this one truth in all sincerity and diligence, and shalom to the rest of the 1/3 remnant of men, women, and children of the nation of Israel, as well as a speckled bird, Israelites who may look like the heathen nations. All right, as we await this second Exodus. This is your brother Rachagabar. All right, as you can see by the title of this lesson, man, what I'm gonna be dealing with is the fact that a leviathan, aka dinosaurs, aka dragons, all right, aka the Loch Ness monster, okay, exist. Okay, they exist, man. All right, and these creatures, these giant sea serpents, all right, or some would call dragons or dinosaurs, okay, they exist, man. All right, and that's the reason why we opened up in the book of Ecclesiastes, all right, because everything that the Most High created, man, we understand that, during the flood, the Most High wiped everything out besides 8 souls, but everything that he created, man, is still here, because the scientists and historians like to say that the dinosaurs lived billions of years ago, okay, just because they're not able to find where they're at, all right, well, they still exist, man. You see, you had this article that went out a day ago. It says, after new discovery, scientist says Loch Ness monster could exist. You see that? And it's not a matter of it could exist. All right, it does. You see, and we're going to show you, man, through the scriptures, all right, how on the 5th day of creation, essentially the 5,000th year, all right, when the Most High had the Elohim underneath Yahweh Shah create all the living creatures, okay, he created Leviathan, man, and Behemoth. You see what you read about in Job chapter 40 and Job chapter 41. All right. Behemoth essentially is the land dinosaur. Leviathan represents the sea serpent. OK, or the sea dragon, man. And they go by many different names. They'll call it the Loch Ness monster. OK, and this is why when you watch a lot of these shows, man, they always reference dragons. You see these gigantic's not even the right word to use. These enormous, terrible looking lizard serpent like creatures, man. Well, they're real and they exist. You see, you got to understand that Esau has only explored, I think they say like less than 5% of the ocean. You see, they haven't explored all of planet Earth, man. OK, and the Most High has these creatures, all right, essentially hidden. OK, because as we're going to read in a book of Job, man, or Salaki in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, that one look at these terrible creatures, would have people give people a heart attack. You see, but nonetheless, man. So I'm going to grab a couple precepts and go through this article, man. And yes, these creatures, all right, dragons, dinosaurs, however you want to call it, they exist, man. Matter of fact, we're going to start off with the fact that when you go into the word dinosaur, all right, when you go into the word dinosaur, man, it goes back into the Greek word dinos, which means terrible. You see, dinos, which means terrible. All right, now keep that in mind, man, because when we grab the precepts, all right, you're going to see that characteristics for these serpents, all right, these enormous creatures is that they're terrible, man, but it goes back into the word the Greek word dinos, which means terrible, and sauros, which means lizard. You see, so you put it together, dinosaur is a terrible lizard, all right, an enormous terrible lizard. Okay, we got alligators and these lizards and things and snakes, right? Well, this is, imagine that, man, but on a behemoth level, on a massive, enormous scale, man. All right. And they exist. OK, it says a terrible lizard. OK, is what that word dinosaur goes back into. All right. Now, when you go into the word dragon, OK, The etymology of the word dragon, essentially it's the same thing, man. It says from Latin, draconem, all right? It says huge serpent. You see, huge serpent, dragon, all right? Then it says from Greek, drakon, which goes into serpent or giant sea fish. You see that? So a huge serpent, all right? A huge serpent, and it says giant sea fish, man. So essentially the dragon and dinosaur are interchangeable, man. And I believe until recently, you know, they were calling these creatures dragons, but then they switched the name over to dinosaur. And as you can see, a terrible lizard is pretty much the same thing. Okay, pretty much the same thing as a serpent. You see, as a huge serpent. Okay, so essentially interchangeable, man. Now let's go ahead and go to the scriptures. We'll start in the book of Genesis. I'm going to skip down to the point, verse 21, because this is when all creatures, everything that has life, all right, all the animals, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, all right, mankind, including the creatures we're going over today. You see dinosaurs, okay, etc., man, were created on this fifth day. Okay, now verse 21, it says, in the Most High, or Salakia, because this word for God here is the Elohim, all right, the powers. It says, in the powers created great whales, okay, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and the powers saw that it was good. So check this, man. When you go into the word whales here, all right, it goes back into the Hebrew word thanayan, all right, thanayan, okay, and what does it say? A dragon, serpent, or sea monster. You see, it says a dragon, serpent, or sea monster, man. And the first definition says a dragon or dinosaur. You see, and we just went over the fact that dragon and dinosaur are essentially interchangeable, man. Okay, terrible. What was it? A terrible lizard, you know, and let's see here, and a huge serpent. Yeah, man, a terrible lizard and a huge serpent. That's the same thing. So on the fifth day of creation, when the living creatures were created, leviathan, all right, and behemoth, which is the land dinosaur, were created as well, man. Okay, because that word whales there goes back into thanayan, which goes into dragon, serpent, sea monster. It says dragon or dinosaur, man. And this is why these Esau, you know, they've discovered certain dinosaur bones and things like that. This is why they make the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. All right, this is why they make Godzilla, okay? The Loch Ness Monster, you see? Because Esau understands to a certain degree, man, that dinosaurs exist. Not the fact that they existed. No, man, they're still here. And that's why we opened up in Ecclesiastes, which I'm going to go get it again. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 14. It says, I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever. So when the Most High created these creatures on the fifth day, man, they're not extinct. Okay, they're not extinct. Just because, you know, Esau's not able to find them and the Most High has them hidden does not make them extinct. It says nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And the Most High doeth it that men should fear him. You see that? So these creatures are still here, man. All right. Now, when you go into this article that was released a day ago, it says, after new discovery, scientists says Loch Ness Monster could exist. All right. And you got to understand, man, that the Most High, as scriptures say, has newly created creatures, okay, that shoot out fire from their mouths, okay, and lasers, okay. And so essentially, man, these creatures could be released in these times. Scriptures say that are going to be like times we've never seen before, man. Well, we've never seen, you know, quote unquote dragons or dinosaurs or fire breathing lizards and things like that, man. You know, we've never seen them that in this lifetime, man. So that's very, very much a possibility. Okay, now when you go into Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11, verse 17, it says, "For thy almighty hand, Yahweh, that made the world of matter without form, wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears, or fierce lions, or unknown wild beasts, full of rage, newly created, breathing out either a fiery vapor or filthy scents of scattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes." You see that? So Yahweh Bashim Shah has creatures newly created, man, that we haven't even seen before. You see? And these creatures, you see, when they show Godzilla, man, what does he do? He's able to breathe fire out of his mouth. Okay? It says breathing out of fire, either a fiery vapor, which you read about in Job 41. Okay? That's what Leviathan's capable of doing, man. Okay? These terrible sea serpents, all right, and these terrible dinosaurs, man. Yeah, they can do those types of things. Okay? It says either a fiery vapor or filthy scents of scattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes, man. Horrible sparkles out of their eyes. What is that? Lasers. Okay? Yeah, the Most High has shit that, you know, would make people have heart attacks at the sight of it, man. It says, and here it goes, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroy them. And when we went into that word dragon, or Slakia dinosaur, it ultimately goes into a terrible lizard. See? So these are terrible looking creatures, man, that at the sight of them, you drop dead. Okay? You know, and you got to understand as well that essentially, man, you know, even the creatures that we can see to today, these creatures were a lot bigger back then, man. You know, going around the time of the garden, when the earth still had its youth. Yeah, man, we live in a time and day and age where the earth's lost its youth, according to scriptures. The oxygen levels have decreased, all right? And so, you know, back then, there was more oxygen on the earth and everything was a lot bigger, man. You know, even the insects, you know, I look at, you know, you look at certain, what are they called? You know, YouTube and documentaries and things, man. You know, it says like even dragonflies. All right. We know how big dragonflies are now, but they used to be the size of like small birds, man, and hawks. OK, everything used to be a lot bigger, man. OK, so it's no coincidence that there's creatures out there that at the sight of them would give you a heart attack. You know, we think giraffes are long and big creatures. You know, we think elephants are big creatures. Man, there's creatures out there, the Most High God, that would blow our minds, man. You know, one of those creatures is Leviathan. Okay, these dinosaurs, these sea serpent, these terrible looking creatures, man. So let's read a little bit of this article. It says the debate about whether or not the Loch Ness monster exists is one step closer to being solved, thanks to researchers from the University of Bath. A new theory emerged that it was plausible, all right, meaning that word plausible essentially goes into being an argument that's essentially backed by reason, okay? It says a new theory emerged that it was plausible the creature walked the earth after the team found pliosaur fossils in a river system in the Sahara Desert. You see that? So they found all these fossils of these dinosaurs, man, which they didn't live billions of years ago. They didn't live billions of years ago. When you understand the scriptures, man, the earth is only, you know, about 12,000 years old. Okay. You know, at this transition of rulership that's taking place. Okay. So every time Esau goes into talking about these ancient fossils and earth being billions of years old, and that's all bullshit, man. It's pseudoscience. Okay, it's pseudoscience, meaning it's false. It's falsified, man. The earth is not that old at all. Okay, it's only about 12,000 years old, man. And these creatures still exist. All right. But it says, according to People, scientists, and I guess that's a magazine or something. Okay, but it says, according to People, scientists now believe that reptiles could have lived in fresh water and not exclusively seawater. You know, when we went into that word whales, it goes into what? a dragon, serpent, or sea monster. Okay, you see that? Man, you just imagine, man, the power of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man. You see, and these terrible creatures he has created. You know, these are his pets. These are his pets, man. Okay. You can read Job 40 and 41, which, you know, I might go through a little bit of 41 dealing with Leviathan. Okay, the sea serpent. All right. But I'm not going to go through all of it. It says skeptics of the Loch Ness monster often cited the pliosaurus. The pliosaurus couldn't be in the area where the creature was first spotted because they needed salt water. The Independent noted that the research team likened the dinosaurs to today's river dolphins, which that's an understatement, man. You see, that's an understatement. Okay, these Behemoth and Leviathan. Okay, yeah, they're terrible, man. They're not likened to a dolphin. Okay, because when you actually read about Leviathan and you know how terrible he is, all right, they're not anything soft, man, or weak, you know. But anyways, it says it also noted that the team found bones from multiple creatures. The fossils included teeth and other fragments from at least 3 adults and an arm bone from a baby pliosaur. This indicates that they moved in packs trying to protect one another. So yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So they exist, you know, and they're here, man. This planet Earth is not been fully explored yet, you know. But these creatures exist, man. All right, and they were created at the same time we was created. All right. Now this is a book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 because it gives you the same account essentially of what we read in Genesis. All right, by the prophet Ezra. It says chapter 6 verse 47. It says, upon the 5th day, which you just read about, thou sayest unto the 7th part where the waters were gathered that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes, and so it came to pass. For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment of the Most High, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Here's a point. Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou callest Enoch and the other Leviathan. Okay, which Leviathan, represents the sea serpent. All right, the literal sea serpent, sea dragon, but it's also used in scriptures referring to Esau, because we know Esau's that serpent, right, that we read about in the beginning. Okay, going into the characteristics of that man. Okay, but this here specifically is going into the actual sea dragon Leviathan. Okay, and it's Enoch here essentially goes into mankind. Okay, because Enoch, let's go ahead and grab it. The word Enoch goes into dedicated in the Hebrew. All right, dedicated, trained, or disciplined. You see, this represents mankind. Okay, because we were given order. We were given order, you know, versus the other creatures that were created. All right. But yeah, man, it says in the other Leviathan, and did it separate the one from the other for the 7th part, namely where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. You see, so Leviathan, man, represents that sea dragon. Okay. And you read about in Job 41. Okay. Because Job 40, you know, essentially goes into the land dinosaurs, behemoth. Okay. Talks about how they swing their tails like a cedar tree. Okay. No creature on this that we see on this earth, man, has a tail likened unto a tree. You know, when you look outside and see the gigantic tree, man, these dinosaurs had tails that they would swing like cedar trees, man. And it talks about how they drink up when they go to, you know, drink water, they could drink up an entire river. Okay. Yeah, man, you ain't finding no elephant, no giraffe, you know, none of these big land creatures that's about to drink up an entire river, man. Okay, you read about it in Job 40. All right, but I want to go ahead and go to Leviathan. All right, because I don't want to grab all of it, but we'll grab here. Job chapter 41 and 18, it says, by his neesings a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. See, that sounds like laser. That sounds like some type of laser eyes to me, man. I mean, you know, what you just read, the Most High has creatures created that shoot sparkles out of their eyes. All right. But it's clearly about to say he shoots fire out of his mouth right here. Verse 19, out of his mouth goeth burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or cauldron. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth, man. So, you know, when you see these depictions of dragons blowing fire, yeah, that's real, man. Okay. Skip down verse 26. It says, the sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold, the spear, the dart, nor the habergeon. He esteemeth iron as straw, and brass as rotten wood. So what creature on the earth do you know that would bend a piece of iron like a piece of straw, man? You see, these sea serpents, all right, the land dinosaurs that the Most High has, man, these are some very powerful, terrible creatures. Okay. And yeah, like I said, you can read all of this, man. I'm not going to grab all of it, but let's see here. Verse 33, it says, upon earth there is not his like, who is made without fear, man. So nobody would look upon these creatures and not fear, man. It says, he beholdeth all high things. He is king over all the children of pride, namely Esau. You know, so it wouldn't be a coincidence that the Most High released, you know, if he released some of these creatures, man, in these times, you know, even what are they called? Velociraptors, you know, the ones that can fly. Yeah, man, you know, you think you see some big ass vultures and hawks and eagles, man. Just imagine the size of these birds, you know, these giant lizard like birds, man. You know, Most High has this created. The Most High is just beyond our understanding, man. But without a shadow of a doubt, you know, these creatures exist. All right. Not a matter of could or none of that, man. They exist. All right. But with that, I'm going to give all praise unto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Shalom to the next one.